Why Catalyst is so strong. Inspired by the other thread going at them moment posted by Rempulse discussing Cat vs Rampart, I put this together to demonstrate why Catalyst is so strong currently. For starters, we need to compare Cat to the other three controller, class, legends in the game based on typical controller strengths. Controller, class, strength. Scanning Beacon, Catalyst, yes. Watson, yes. Rampart, yes. Caustic, yes. Defending a building, Catalyst, great. Watson, best. Rampart, good. Caustic, great. Defending open spaces with mediocre cover, Catalyst, good. Watson, great. Rampart, best. Caustic, good. Ability to scan the ring is vital in most cases for pro play obviously. When it comes to holding down a position, Cat is strong versus the field, but doesn't necessarily outshine any of them in any specific way. In general, all four legends can hold positions well. Where Cat really starts to dunk on the other controllers, class, is in her versatility. Below are some of Cat's strengths that are not normally found in controllers, class. Non-controller, class, strengths. Knock recovery, ability to get a teammate up who went down, Catalyst, great. Watson, mid. Rampart, good. Caustic, mid. Micro rotates, smaller mid-late game relocations, Catalyst, great. Watson, bad. Rampart, good. Caustic, bad. Scouting, ratting prevention, speed of enemy presence locating, Catalyst, good. Watson, bad. Rampart, bad. Caustic, bad. Sieging, attacking an enemy team's position, Catalyst, great. Watson, bad. Rampart, mid. Caustic, mid. End game value, Catalyst, great. Watson, mid. Rampart, good. Caustic, great. Knock recovery. Cat's knock recover is only surpassed by Newcastle, Lifeline, and Gibby. Micro rotates, far superior to the other controllers, class. Here, Cat's micro rotates are comparable to Ash, Wraith, and situationally Vok, Horizon. Scouting. This is still a fairly underutilized aspect of Cat's kit, however still very strong. When entering an area that is sketchy and could have rats, or perhaps running up to a building and wanting to check if the second floor is clear for example, Cat can launch a Q at a possibly hiding spot, or onto a second floor balcony. If someone is there, the spikes let you know. If it's all clear, Cat can pick it up and use it again immediately on the next spot. This type of scouting is only done better by Seer, Bloodhound, and Crypto. Sieging. When pushing another team's position, Watson is one of the worst in the game. Rampart and Caustic have minor advantage they can provide through breaking doors with the minigun or throwing a Caustic ult on the enemy team if the position allows. However, Catalyst can use her entire kit while sieging. She can Q enemy positions of cover, use her passive on door to lock enemies in, wall inside a building to create a more advantageous fight, or wall to block off any third-party line of sight. End game value. Everyone is familiar with this one by now. Cat is extremely strong in endgame. Her endgame strength may be the best in the game and is only situationally rivaled by Fuse, Caustic, Horizon, Bang, Newcastle, and Gibby. For each of these six, however, there are scenarios where their kit will not be as strong in an endgame. For Cat, her kit is essentially always strong. When you add all of these things up, it becomes extremely difficult to choose any controller, class, over Catalyst. Next we need to look at each controller's natural counters. Natural counters. Catalyst, major, none, minor, Catalyst. Watson, major, Crypto, minor, Maggie. Rampart, Major, Fuse, Minor, Rampart. Caustic, Crypto, Minor, Fuse, Maggie. Lack of counters is a significant part of Kat's strength. The only real thing that counters her is another catalyst due to being able to run through her wall and spikes. We saw this issue with the Seer meta, where Seer's lack of counters forced teams to also run Seer, or to run a Crypto that could only really use EMP when a Seer had already ulted them. If we look at Kat's versatility across all the class types, she is actually competitive against many of those legends even when only looking at what is good about that class. Support. Kat is great at knock recovery. She can res behind a wall or use her spikes to obstruct vision. Assault, Skirmisher. Kat can throw out a wall and pop in and out of it, or the enemy team's cat wall, run through spikes from herself or another cat, and use her passive to both block enemies in, or keep them out. This enables her to play very aggressively in a way no other legend can. She is also by far the best knockdown versus knockdown legend in the game. Rakan. Obviously not as strong as the other scanners, but she can use spikes to confirm a team is not ratting a blind corner or hiding in a small building. It's minor, but it's something no other legend can do through a wall aside from Maggie holding her Q while she runs. Catalyst is by far the most versatile legend in the game and the strongest. She is also a great example of good design since she is able to be this strong without being anywhere nearly as annoying as pre-nerf Seer or pre-nerf Horizon. That being said, for the health of the game through legend diversity, bringing her down a little will be required. In my opinion, none of her abilities are outright overpowered, so nerfing her is more challenging than with other legends, but it's her versatility that needs to be toned down to do so. TLDR. Catalyst is the best legend in the game and it's not close. But she's the best because she's at least decent at everything, and great at some things, without having many weaknesses. This prevents her from feeling super OP despite being undoubtedly the best legend. Horizon is more flashy, and her Q is completely overpowered compared to the other Qs in the game, but she is the second strongest legend, not first. Disclaimer: I still think Horizon is too strong, in addition to Kat. As a Kat main, I think you are underselling some of the counters to her. You effectively named 0 counters, which is not true at all. Fuse is a very legit Kat counter that can effortlessly destroy the doors and uncover the location of enemies behind the wall. He is by far the most difficult to play against as a Kat, my opinion. Horizon is also strong since she can bring her entire team over the wall. Given how many Horizons there are, this is a real thing. Maggie's drill is also great at penetrating the building and breaking doors. Crypto EMP can take down the entire defensive setup, and his drone can also go above the wall to provide sight. He can counter most of her abilities decently. In practice this is a non-issue since nobody plays him. But his abilities are decent counters. One other note is that Mirage is a better knock revive than Kat. Otherwise great analysis. You are right about everything else. Don't forget Rampart, since she can easily break down doors with her ult and can do it fairly safely if she places a wall beforehand. Can get a surprise kill like that sometimes too, because most people don't accept the doorway to instabreak and have the highest DPS weapon be shot at them straight away. Sheila also lets Rampart track people through catwall thanks to the mag size, which makes catwalls more dangerous as cover or require better placement. All fair points, I don't disagree with you, but will share why I left each of these out. I thought about including Fuse as a minor counter to Kat, but my thinking was that she can use her passive more than Fuse can Q them off. Same for Maggie. Compared to Fuse versus Caustic or Rampart, where the wall's barrels are slower to come back, the downside felt diminished. For Crypto, his EMP not taking out her wall nullifies the counter in my opinion. Kat can simply wall the side of her building position with the most danger and deploy her entire setup in again in 10 seconds or so. For Mirage, I agree about his res being strong for ranked, but in pro play I would guess the cloaking would have less value with teams being more coordinated and having better comms. For Horizon I didn't consider that option admittedly, but we only really see this happening in endgame circles in my experience, so while it's a counter there I'm not sure I would say it is for the whole game. I guess I was comparing more to how you have listed counters to others. Crypto takes down her entire in-house setup, so I don't see how you can list him as a major counter to Watson but not a minor counter to Cat. Same with Fuse. You list him as a major counter to Rampart but not even a minor counter to Cat. He does pretty much equal damage to both their defensive setups, and you can argue he's equally as effective against a moving Sheila as he is against a wall. You list Maggie as a minor counter to Caustic when I argue she does more damage against Cat since she can permanently break door structures. Not sure why she would be listed as a minor to Caustic but not a minor to Cat. It's just the consistency that seems biased when there are lots of reasonable counters when abilities are used well. The thing I 100% agree with you on is a lot of the counters are nullified by the speed of the door replacement. So these counters would all be a lot more fair for balancing if her nerf targeted the cooldown on her passive. Great discussion. All fair and valid critiques that I agree with, could have done that section better in hindsight. Cat, Watson in buildings, and frankly it's not even close. IDK, when Watson has all the fences up and a general you can't destroy, she's pretty much invulnerable outside of an EMP coming in. This specific scenario is Watson's exact niche, so she should be thriving here though. Watson's gen does nothing against any of Cat's abilities. That alone lets Cat still control the space, even if a Watson is there with fences and gen set up. Reinforce exits, split room in half with ult, spam spikes, and you can destroy fences at your leisure. After you have opened up the space, you get a free push. I dual main and recently have decided that Catalyst is better for holding a building. Being able to remake doors is better than having an open but inaccessible door. The open but fenced door allows for the enemy to try different angle, which could eventually lead to either breaking nodes or a down. Of course there's counterplay with additional fencing and etc. Meanwhile with Catalyst, when a door is broke by an enemy you can stall with spikes, wall, or by hovering around the door until you can remake it again and again. Depends on the size of building, Cat better at 4/5 door building or less. Nice write up. I just knew day one she'll be comp ready. I love playing her. Watching Jen and Verhulst play her is so much fun. Their QS are also so nice.